The highlight reel finish, somebody forgot to finish it. And that's playing into the hand.
And that concludes the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
And in this completely jam-packed a competitive matchup for Atlanta in the first quarter. Their largest deficit of the period was just 4. That's going to do it for now as the second half is just a...
And now the third quarter about to get going. Gordon Hayward with another strong contribution so far in this one.
I just love the tenacity on the defensive side. I mean, his play on D has been a huge factor for them as he continues to get steal after steal.
And guys, as the game moves on, I think he should continue to be aggressive defensively to keep ball handlers off balance.
Second half underway. Here's who Brad Stevens got on the floor. T is out there with Horford, and it's Hayward. Then there's Irving, and it's Brown in at the small forward. And you know, Gordon Hayward was involved in one of the more fascinating NBA draft stories. It started after his father confirmed that Gordon would submit his name to the draft, but would not immediately hire an agent.
Yeah, reportedly, Dad created a highly detailed 2-page questionnaire that he gave prospective agents, which is not something that's typical.
And on the topic of Hayward hiring an agent, it was reported that the questionnaire was just the beginning, and that prospective agents also went through quite a grilling. In addition to that, you talk about a thorough process.
It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. T, he's covered by Brown. Collins, a screen on Hayward. Schroeder kicks to Collins. And a strong finish with two hands.
Boy, he threw out some punishment with that two-hand throwdown.
And Clark, now's the time to do it. Continue to attack that rim.
You know, back to Hayward, obviously his first NBA contract was subject to the rookie wage scale, but his second contract, 4-year max deal. So whatever the Haywards have done as far as agent vetting, it's paid off.
The Hawks leading by 9. Schroeder kicks to Dedmon. Now Bellinelli looking for his first basket still in this one. And stolen by Hayward. Here's Irving. Finished off the break.
It is so hard to contain him. He just seems to get it done however he has to do it.
Kyrie Irving may be the best ball handler in the league. There are a lot of guys with a good handle. He is definitely in the top 5. If not, he's got to be in the conversation.
And arguably the most talented player at his position. I mean, he can get wherever he wants to on the court. He's athletic, an unbelievable finisher as well. I think that's something that oftentimes gets underrated. Maybe the best finisher in the game.
Agreed. Smart's checked in for the Celtics. Rozier comes in for Kyrie Irving. They set the pick. And Bellinelli kicks to Dedmon. Hayward with some nice D. Celtics trail by 7.
And you know, Kyrie Irving really ambidextrous as a ball handler because you can't play him to one side, and he's ambidextrous as a finisher too. He's so creative and crafty. Terrific at the rim with both hands.
Here's Dedmon, and he jams it after taking the nice feed on the run.
Ooh, that's as forceful a finish as you're ever going to see out of this guy.
Well, gee, it adds now to their lead in spectacular fashion.
And you know, that lead's only going to grow if they're not prepared to defend a little more staunchly than that.
Boston with the ball. They trail by 9 points. Here's Smart.
That's 1 for their first. Four to start the second half.
Can't get it to fall.
And one thing about Irving's ball handling, he does a great job of protecting the ball. A very low rate of turnovers for a player as aggressive as he is on the bounce.
Dishes it to Schroeder. Down to 5 on the shot clock. Here's Dedmon. And he jams it with authority.
And just another example, Kevin, of how they built this lead, just outworking them.
Greg, that was definitely an effort play right there. You talk about that all the time, fighting to get proper position, then slamming home the putback.
Yep, and if they can maintain this energy level, their lead will be safe.
Time called here. The Celtics decide to talk it over.
Now, you know what? I think he thinks he can make a few improvements to how things are going on right now.
Yeah, and you know, coaches always are looking for ways to tweak things and change it up a little bit, no matter what the situation is. That's what coaches do.
The Hawks making a switch here. Bazemore is checked in. Then for the Celtics, G's checked in for Hayward. Brown comes in for Marcus Smart. And Irving subbed in for Rozier. While we have a break in the action, now let's check out the league's best shooting teams. Number 1, the Celtics.
Kevin, I've always said shooting percentage individually and for a team is a function of the kinds of shots you get. This team leads the league in shooting percentage because, 1, they have good shooters, but 2, they take high-quality shots. They're a very disciplined group.
The Hawks were fantastic last season. After the All-Star break, they did slip up a bit, struggled against teams over 500.
And Bellinelli kicks to Dedmon. Certainly the biggest surprise last year. Clark was the play of the Atlanta Hawks. Few would have picked them to win the East at the start of the season.
Well, they did it, and they earned it. The Hawks didn't have any superstars on their roster, but they won with solid team play.
For the Hawks, Ilyasova comes in for Collins. And it's D in for Dennis Schroeder. Aaron Baines, he's checked in for the Celtics. Marcus Smart comes in for T. Now here's Smart. Defense is right there. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
And for the Hawks, they did end up with 4 All-Stars last season. As you said, it was all about how they worked together as a team.
Muscala, he's checked in for Atlanta. Luke Babbitt comes in for Marco Bellinelli. Here's Bazemore. He feeds it to Ilyasova. The Hawks working the ball around. Here's Bazemore. It's blocked. And so it looks like the Hawks will retain possession here. Here's Delaney. But they recover it. And it's out of bounds. The Celtics will take it the other way.
It's still early on in the season, Kevin. But let's take some time to look at where the Celtics sit right now. First in blocks. First in field goal percentage. And they're also number 1 in free throw shooting. A team that makes foul shots gives itself and its coaching staff a lot of confidence.
And going back to that top ranking in terms of block shots, for me it's been pure dominance. Defensively, they have such great presence around the rim, and at times that gets in your head.
And you know, around the NBA, the league recognized the Hawks were a complete team. Everybody played their roles superbly. The NBA named all 5 of their starters the player of the week last year in an unprecedented move.
Babbitt's it to Bazemore. He dents the rim with a 2-handed slam. Wow.
That's what I like, a nice, strong finish inside.
That's what he does. He's got that dunker mentality.
My goodness, physicality personified right there. Able to just go up and finish over the biggest defenders.
The defense has not been able to keep the ball out of the paint at that end of the floor.
And I'd be interested to know just how many of these attempts have come from inside of 5 feet.
There's 49 seconds left in the third quarter of the game. And the foul on Marcus Smart. That is his first foul of the game.
And really, these are some of the toughest calls an official has to make.
Yeah, but in this case, I think he got it right. I mean, the defender was still moving there and never really had good legal guarding position. He wasn't set.
Looking at who's out there now for the Celtics. T's checked in for Smart. And Gordon Hayward is subbed in for Irving. T the pass to Baines. 7-second difference, shot and game clock. Here's Bazemore. That's tipped, but they get it back. And the pass to Muscala. Shot clock at 6. And it doesn't even draw iron. Oh, and the buzzer. The fourth quarter just moments away now as we welcome you back. Here's Irving. Collins is out there with T. Then there's Dennis Schroeder. Then there's Bellinelli. And it's Dedmon in at the pivot, manning the middle. So that's the lineup for Atlanta. Here's Horford, and he was camped in the lane there, and he gets the 3-second call.
And as a coach, that's the kind of turnover that drives you nuts.
And, Greg, there's no reason for that turnover to happen. It's just inexcusable.
Collins dishes to Bellinelli. Puts it up from 12. Here's Dedmon. Arm's length from the hoop. He knocks it down. Dedmon's got the fourth quarter going with the first basket of the period here for the Hawks. Hayward kicks to Brown. And 2 free throws coming up as he misses that one. Drawing the whistle and a lot of contact there.
Boy, they came out of the locker room at halftime with a much more physical disposition than they had in the first half.
And that helps, Clark. They've gotten extra trips to the foul line, and they need that to continue if they're going to get back in this game.
They double him with Horford. There's Schroeder. Good on the trip.
It's the 2K Sports pregame show.
Welcome, everyone, to Phillips Arena. We're in Atlanta, Georgia, the home of the Hawks, where we'll be broadcasting live today. Thanks for joining us on this Tuesday night edition of the NBA and all its great action on 2K Sports. This is Kevin Harlan to call the game with our analysts Clark Kellogg and Greg Anthony. And a one-game homestand for Atlanta as the Hawks will try to recharge their batteries on their home court. These guys facing good ball clubs and will continue to over the upcoming stretch of games, even more critical to notch a win in this one.
And right now for the Hawks, they've gotten off to the kind of start teams just dread. They've already dug a nice hole for themselves.
Well, they've assured that it'll be an uphill climb the rest of the way if they want to get into the playoffs.
Now James, courtesy of Gatorade, all fueled up and ready to go. The starting five on the floor. On the floor for Boston. T is out there with Hayward. Then there's Brown. Then there's Horford. And it's Irving in at the point guard position. The shot's good. Brown making the play. Irving's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for three. So it's Atlanta now. Tough loss coming against Cleveland in their last game played.
Yeah, major problems at the charity stripe in that game. They just could not convert their free throws.
And that makes it hard to win, especially on the road. You get a chorus of about 20,000 yelling at you every time you put one off the rim. Boy, that's got to wear on you.
Well, what a season for Kyrie Irving last year. Huge moments for him. 57-point outburst against San Antonio. That was a new franchise record for the Cavs.
I think a lot of it was finally being able to play with other All-Stars, quite honestly, Kevin, but you can't discount the work Irving put into the offseason to be ready for the regular season.
And so it's Atlanta with it after the basket by Boston. And there's the 3-second violation. First quarter of play with about a minute and a half gone. Brown dishes to Irving. To the middle. And there's Horford. That's good on the assist by Irving. Horford's got his first points in this one.
And for Irving, he did come into last year hot. I mean, he won the MVP in international play while with Team USA.
Now here's Schroeder. Looking at his point production, he averages almost 11 points a game. Here's Bellinelli. The pass to T. Kicks to Dedmon. Just 5 on the clock. Here's Collins. And a foul called on the shot. Got him on the way up that time, so he'll shoot 2 right here.
Yeah, easy call.
Yeah, you can hear the smack all the way over here where we are.
And for Kyrie, taking home the MVP in a Team USA tourney like that, it's a huge ego boost. I mean, of all the stars on that team, he shined the brightest, and I think that's going to help his confidence for this year.
Schroeder passes to Bellinelli. Nice ball movement here by Atlanta. Atlanta again missing.
Not sure what the D was doing there. Clearly a breakdown. You can ill afford to give a guy like him that good a look.
It seems that every pass they make is leading to a score here. I mean, that's just exquisite ball movement.
And that's because the ball is looking for the best shot, and it's really paid off for them during the run.
Collins a screen on Brown, and it's Schroeder in the corner. And they wasted no time getting those 3 points back. Schroeder's got himself going with the triple, his first basket of the game. And Hayward with the stuff.
Good ball movement. He put that pass in the ideal spot, right where it needed to be.
The Hawks trail by 4. Pass to T. Schroeder with the ball. Collins, a screen on Irving. Shooter kicks to Collins. And now Hayward pushing it up. No one back to stop him. Oh, that's blocked. And so it looks like the Celtics will retain possession here. The Atlanta making some changes. Muscala, he's checked in for Dwayne Dedmon. Ilyasova comes in for Collins. And it's Kent Bazemore in for Bellinelli. Then for the Celtics, Aaron Baines, he's checked in for Horford. G comes in for T. And Smart subbed in for Brown. Irving drives in. And so he draws the foul on the shot. A trip to the line to shoot two.
Kyrie Irving made his first playoff appearance last season with the Cavs, and individually he got a big $90 million max extension. As well. He's in a really good spot in his career at this point.
Here's what Atlanta's going with right now. Luke Babbitt comes in for T. And it's D in for Dennis Schroeder. And a change for the Celtics. Morris is checked in for Gordon Hayward. Bazemore dishes to Muscala. And he gets it to go. And speaking of Irving's star status, last season a signature shoe in his name. I see, in fact, that you and Clark are wearing them tonight. That's always a big deal.
Kevin, that's an elite club to be in. Only the true superstars get that kind of status. He certainly got the flash to go with the substance.
And the Hawks with possession here. Marcus Smart missing that last shot. There's a good screen. Bazemore passes to Muscala. He used that pick to get in close.
Give an assist there, not for the pass, but for the solid screen set on the inside that freed him up and made the layup possible.
T's checked in for the Celtics. Rozier comes in for Irving. Out of bounds, Atlanta will take possession. And there before you are the teams that have been absolutely red hot for the last 10 games. The Celtics second, number 5, the Hawks.
I mean, this is about hot shooting for both these teams recently. Two teams playing with tremendous confidence. This sure makes for an exciting matchup.
Shane Larkin's checked in for Boston. Bazemore misses.
Usually if he gets to the rim, he's converting it into points. But the defense stood tall there.
Foul call that time on the way up. That'll give him 2 chances at the free throw line here. You look back last year, and the Hawks were incredible at home last season. Not a bad way to help unveil that beautiful statue of Dominique Wilkins in front of the stadium.
Yeah, I mean, and so much went right for the Hawks. And adding that statue, Meek, was the cherry on top. Very classy move from that organization.
Here's Muscala. He's got 5. Bazemore misses. Poked away. D passes to Ilyasova. Beautiful dish, and the layup goes down.
That's a quick bucket there. Solid in transition.
Well, you know, he loves the chance to get out and run, and we could see right there why he does.
Last season, the Celtics had a solid 19-22 road record, Clark. Not the 500 mark most teams want, but a very good effort from a young team. No one really expected that.
Yeah, and you think about this team that's still growing and has a lot of youth. I mean, that kind of road record, very impressive. Their fans should be feeling pretty good about what the future holds with this group.
Gordon Hayward's checked in for T. Here's Delaney. And no good. Had a chance to take the lead. The Celtics have gone 5 of 8 from the field, shooting over 62%. And a missed layup.
And thinking back on the Celtics, on the road, their away record doesn't tell the whole story. They won their last 7 road games in that tremendous playoff push.
Here's Larkin. Puts the move on. Got him with the pump fake, but couldn't finish. Bazemore passes to D. Here's Bazemore. Out of bounds, Boston takes possession.
And really just a lack of awareness on his part. Just no idea he was right near the line.
There's the steal. No good. Welcome back, folks. We have a close game here at the start of the second quarter of play. And what do you guys think about Boston here in this one?
And we've really seen them get out and establish a real nice rhythm offensively in this game.
Yeah, and they're finding ways to score multiple ways, playing well and sharing the ball, just operating good at the offensive end.
They've got T. Bellinelli is out there with Dennis Schroeder. Then it's Collins, and it's Dedmon in at the 5 down low. That's the group starting the second quarter for the Hawks.
You know, huge height advantage there, but because of the great body control, he's able to cancel it out.
Agreed. The body control essential in that situation. I mean, if you're giving up a bunch of height, then you better be able to manufacture things in the air. And, you know, guys, Marco Bellinelli really hit his stride 2 seasons ago. He was way up across the board as a shooter and assist man. Even his rebounding had improved over his career averages. But then last year, he took a bit of a step back.
And we're about a minute into the second quarter of play. Schroeder kicks to Dedmon. It's stolen by Brown. And now Irving pushing it up. No one back to stop him. They get it back. Hayward passes to T. He kicks it to Horford. Parked down low that time, and he got the 3 seconds on it. Here we are in November, and let's see how things are going out east in the early season. To take a look at the Celtics. Here in the early part of the season, they've acquired the 3rd best record in the conference. And, of course, the Hawks, 3 games behind.
And, you know, for Boston, they have hit the ground running this year. The work they did in the offseason has paid huge dividends right away.
Sure it has. I mean, they came out of the preseason with a real air of confidence. There may not have been many outsiders who believed in them, but now plenty of people do.
Boston making some changes. G comes in for T. And Marcus Smart is subbed in for Brown. And here in the second with about a minute and a half gone by. There's the screen. Outside, Bellinelli. Rebounded by the Celtics. They're coming off that win against the Nets.
Their percentage from long range in that game was off the charts. It seemed like anytime the fans got a little hostile, they just started to take it up a notch from beyond.
The bombs were really falling, weren't they? I mean, great shooting, especially when you consider it was on the road.
Hawks have gone 2 of 3 from the field here to open the second quarter. 2 minutes now played in the second quarter. Dishes it to Dedmon. Now Bellinelli. He's got 8. The feed to Collins. To the wing on the left. 5 on the clock. Schroeder with the ball. Guarded now by Irving. That's good. Boston took a lot of steps forward last season with their coach, Brad Stevens. Still, though, their defense was near the middle of the road. That will need some tweaking.
Yeah, and you could say that seemed to be the limiting factor, Kevin, in how far they eventually went. Strange, given how several years ago they were an offensive juggernaut.
Horford dishes to G. Nice ball movement by Boston. And lots of contact there. Missing the shot. He'll shoot 2.
Yeah, you know, for the Celtics in their defense, a lot of it had to do with rim protection and challenging shots. They were actually last in the league in blocks.
Both shots good from the stripe.
Yeah, and the Celtics averaged under 4 blocks a game last season, but blocks aren't the whole story. They let opponents get too many easy looks inside the paint. That's the real factor why their defense was subpar.
Here's Collins. Taking a look at his stats, he's averaging around 9.5 points a game.
The game has been very close in a lot of areas, but rebounding has been the one differentiator thus far.
And, Greg, we've seen it time and time again in games. Effort and determination on the glass can make up for a lot of other weaknesses.
That one goes. Bellinelli's got 10 points.
And, boy, has he picked it up since the start of the second. His shots now starting to fall. Yeah, I think he just sees some things that can be improved and wants to get everybody back on the same page.
And usually that, to me, is a good use of the timeout. I mean, if there's something that he's noticed that can give his team a lift, I think he's got to try to take advantage of that.
Atlanta making some changes. Muscala, he's checked in for Dwayne Dedman. And it's Kent Bazemore in for Bellinelli. The Celtics also changing it up. T's checked in for Hayward. Brown comes in for Smart. And it's Rozier in for Kyrie Irving. Here's Schroeder. And it's sent back by Horford. Here's Rozier. His last outing, he had 8 points. Shot from 16. And the jumper is on the mark. T's got 5. And a chance now to catch up on some numbers here. The hustle stats for the Celtics.
Well, you have to admire their intensity in the paint defensively. I mean, really contesting and even blocking shots. Definitely a factor early.
And also defensively, they've been able to cause some turnovers tonight, and that also builds confidence and gives you momentum.
And now it's Brown running. He can go all the way. T, the pass to Brown. To the wing right side. It's stolen by Schroeder. And they're pushing it up. With the floater. And he gets the bucket. T's got his first basket of the night.
This has been a thriller. You cannot say enough about the way these two teams have competed.
All indications, Greg, are that this game is going down to the wire. I mean, I'd be surprised, actually shocked, if it ended any other way.
Atlanta's gone 1 of 2 on three-pointers here in the second quarter so far. Now the dish to Collins. And T is going to pick up the foul. For the Hawks, Ilyasova, he's checked in for Collins. Luke Babbitt comes in. For T, and it's D in for Dennis Schroeder.
Babbitt. Delaney.
.107 left here in the second. Can't cash in from close range. The Celtics have gone 3 of 7 shooting the ball here in the second quarter. Here's T. Back to Brown. 18 feet out. No good. And Atlanta will come the other way. They've got the Timberwolves ahead of them next in Minneapolis. It's game 1 of a 3-game road trip.
That is just pretty right there. What a find for his teammate at the rim.
Here's Rozier. He hasn't scored yet. That, I'm sure, will change. And stolen by Ilyasova. Down low. Cuts off the pass. It's 9 seconds separating the shot clock and game clock. Here's T. Leans inside. Fires the 3. And the basket by Rozier. Rozier's got his first bucket of the game, and he's on the board for 3.
No need to rush here. They can play for one shot.
Yeah, and I think the way you do it, you're patient as you indicated, and wait until about the 5-second mark before you get into your play.
And Bazemore kicks to Ilyasova. Passes it to D. Here's Muscala. Can't hit, so the clock.
And now, the 2K Sports Halftime Show.
Hello again, everybody. This arena is packed. A competitive matchup for Atlanta in the first quarter. Some good action during the period. And that's going to do it for now as the second half is just...
We have a close ball game on our hands as we get set for the second half of basketball.
Well, Marco Bellinelli in this one. He's got 10 points, and he's done a little bit of work behind the arc. He's got a pair of 3-pointers.
And you know what? The defenders have that in the back of their minds now. They'll be on him a little tighter.
Second half underway. Here's who Brad Stevens got on the floor. T is out there with T. Then it's Aaron Baines. And it's Hayward. And it's Larkin in at the point.
Just such a well-rounded offensive player. He's got a little bit of everything.
The Hawks trailing. And in an era where so many guys take the money and run, Gordon Hayward did the best he could to live up to his new contract. Clark last year, a 4-year max deal signed heading into last season.
Yeah, and the way max contracts work nowadays, even the upper mid-tier guys are getting them. a trend that will probably continue, at least in the near future. I don't like it, though. There are only a small number of guys that are really max contract players in the NBA.
Here's Dedmon after the basket by Boston. Collins, a screen on Hayward. Off the pick. Shot's good by Dedmon. Dedmon's got it all tied up now for the Hawks.
Perfect screen there. Set him up with a terrific look.
Yeah, I like the fact that the setup was good, the screen was solid, but you also have to look at the fact the defender didn't do his job as well as he could have.
It's stolen by Schroeder. It's 3-on-3 on the fast break. Here's Collins, laid in with a nice touch off the glass. And the Hawks lead by 2.
Guys, they've had a solid start to the second half offensively. Gotten good looks, and they've made 3 out of 4 of them. They've been committing a lot of turnovers, and I imagine that's exactly what they're talking about right now. They need to tighten it up.
Now a timeout called by Boston. In addition to going over the game plan and making whatever necessary adjustments have to be made, Greg, this timeout also the time for players to get rehydrated or hydrate for the first time with some Gatorade. Plenty of basketball still to be played here, and they have to get recharged.
That's a great point. Without proper hydration, a player can completely run out of gas down the stretch of a game. And that's something that none of these guys can afford to have happen. If you're going to battle all the way to the finish, you have got to be hydrated.
Here's what Boston's going with right now. Al Horford is checked in for T. Brown comes in for T. And Kyrie Irving subbed in for Larkin. Now, here is Irving. He's got 7. And so he earns a trip to the line. Officials saw the contact, and he'll shoot 2.
You know, not many saw it coming last season with the Hawks. I mean, they just ran away with the Eastern Conference. It was the first time. They took the East since 1994.
And with the Hawks and the East, they just dominated the rest of the division. 39 of the Hawks' 60 regular season wins came in conference.
Yeah, and across the board, the Hawks statistically just dominated all Eastern opponents. They shot it better, played better defense, took better care of the ball. They are set up to be a factor in this conference for a long time.
And I think Doris Burke has something for us right now. Doris?
Yes, guys, Mike Budenholzer had some words for his team. He said a big part of their focus should be on offensive rebounding, to get bodies to the glass at that end of the floor and work hard for second chance points. There was one other thing he talked to them about. He told them to move with purpose on the perimeter, use screens, and find those open outside shots. Those are likely not the last adjustments they make today, guys. There's still time left in this one. Back to you, Kevin.
All right, Doris, thank you very much. Now here's Smart. Bellinelli is covering. Pass to Smart.
Blocking foul. That's his first personal foul. Second team foul.
Second half of play with just under 2.5 minutes gone. Now here's Hayward. He's covered closely. Nice fake with the layup off the mark.
And typically he has the touch to finish when he's in tight, but not sure on that.
And it's blocked. Irving kicks to Horford. And now we're 3 minutes into the third quarter of play. Back to Irving. And that's going to be too many steps. That's the whistle on the travel. Well, a break on the floor, so let's talk about the league. Small forward, shall we, for a second, and see which of them have led the league in free throw shooting this season. Second is Gordon Hayward.
And knowing what I do about the guys on that list, I can tell you they put a lot of long hours in the gym to get those percentages to where they are.
Well, you can't get those numbers without the work. And they've posted impressive numbers, and all of them are naturally gifted shooters, but you have to add to natural ability the work required to bring it to fruition. Boy, I tell you, last season was a big one for the Hawks and Coach Budenholzer. Their dominant season won him multiple Coach of the Month titles, and eventually he won the Coach of the Year award.
So it's Atlanta now. After Gordon Hayward's three-pointer that didn't go. Nice ball movement here by Atlanta. And there's the 3-second violation.
And with the break here, let's look at the stats for G. First in three-point shooting, second in field goal percentage. And he's in the top 5 in the league in steals. Those hands are like meat hooks. Not much gets by him.
And not only is he dialing it up from deep, he's doing it with great consistency. One of our league's most efficient three-point shooters.
And the Hawks making a change here. Ilyasova's checked in. The Celtics have been a perfect 8 of 8 at the line. The first free throw is good.
You know, there was plenty to be happy about last year in Atlanta with the way the Hawks played. One sour note, though, was that the team was viewed as a potential buy for Seattle groups.
Looking at who's out there now for the Hawks. Mike Muscala is checked in for Dwayne Dedman, and it's D in for Dennis Schroeder. Here's Bellinelli. He's got 12. Feeds it to Bazemore. And stolen by Hayward. And a fast break now for the Celtics. And fouled hard that time. He'll get to the line and shoot 2. Well, last season, the Hawks not only had a great year on the floor as they were the top seed in the Eastern Conference, but they had a pretty good day at the bank, too. They sold for a nice price. Looks like the team is going to stay in Atlanta where it belongs.
Yeah, and that's great news for Atlanta, and they were rewarded with a terrific season. A group, including Grant Hill, purchased the Hawks, and obviously will keep that group in Atlanta for many years to come.
Bazemore gets the bucket.
And good passing, setting up a lot of these buckets right now, Kevin. That's been the key.
Dime-dropping delights is what I call it.
That's a nice pass. I will give you that one.
Yeah, he's on the money, that's no doubt. Now a timeout called by Boston. Their last encounter was in Boston.
You know, but they were able to hang in there for most of that game. But at the end, you know, when it matters most in terms of what I call winning time, they just could not make the plays on either end of the floor.
Yeah, I like that term, winning time. But as you said, they didn't get run over, but just couldn't convert when they needed to in the end.
The Celtics making a switch here. Smart's checked in.
You know, sometimes the intensity of the game can lead to brain new. Neutral plays like that, guys.
And so it's Atlanta with it. The lead is 2. D passes to Ilyasova. Babbitt dishes to Ilyasova. There's 1:17 left here in the third quarter. That's good. Ilyasova's got 5.
Just look at what a sniper he is from long range. He's got such an unusual skill for a big fella. And guys, how about Ilyasova last season shooting the basketball? Always a decent threat to score. His improvements in efficiency were amazing. He increased his field goal accuracy from 41 to 47% in only 1 year.
Here's Bazemore. He's averaging around 5.5 points a game. The pass to D. Rebound, Boston. T's got his 3rd rebound tonight. 41 seconds left in the third quarter of the game. Horford gets the bucket. And we were talking about Ilyasova. There's a reason his field goal percentage went up last season. It wasn't necessarily better shooting. It was probably better shot selection.
And I think the scheme played to his strengths. Lots of ball movement, penetration, kicking out to open spot-up shooters. Ersan showed us that's his kind of game.
Here's Smart. Pass to T for the lead. It's hauled in by Ilyasova. The Hawks have gone 6 of 10 from the field in the third quarter. Out to the wing. Here's Bazemore, covered by Irving. Good. D's got his 2nd basket.
No matter what they've tried, the D just has not been able to deny them the ball in the paint.
And it's a big key thus far in this game, Clark, because whenever they've gotten the ball in the paint, good things have happened.
Thanks for joining us again as we get set for the fourth quarter. A terrific game so far. Dwayne Dedman is out there with Collins. Then it's T. Then there's Dennis Schroeder, and it's Bellinelli in at the shooting guard position. So that's the lineup for Atlanta. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there. It was a tough battle down the stretch, but the Celtics were able to get back into the playoffs last year.
And kind of just hovering around all season, but give them credit. They fought their way in and spent only 1 year out of the postseason in their rebuild.
Now here's Schroeder. Passes it to T. Collins, a screen on Hayward. Nice job coming off that screen. And the Hawks lead by 3.
Great job of utilizing that screen and finding space to knock down the jumper. Good basketball.
Good on the shot.
And they'll be counting on even more points from him. That's essential if they're going to pull this game out.
Here's Bellinelli. He's covered by Brown. And Bellinelli kicks it over to Schroeder. He dishes it to Dedman. Some solid defense from Brown. Boston's gotten fewer than half of their three-pointers to go down tonight. They're 4 for 9. Hayward passes to Baines. Brown dishes to Hayward. Makes the bucket. Now he's got 5 field goals, 5 for 8 in the game.
And I'm sensing something special going on here tonight.
It certainly does have the feeling of a classic, Greg. Let's see which team is better equipped to handle the pressure.
Time called here. The Hawks decide to talk it over. Last season, Atlanta showed just how much fun a team can have playing team basketball, a complete team effort. We use that word a lot. You don't see it much in the NBA, but boy, they epitomized the club.
Yeah, they sure did. Refreshing to see a team do that well collectively without a real superstar. Just a solid group that understood their roles and played them perfectly.
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Hi, guys. I had a chance to find out what Mike Budenholzer was discussing with his guys. He told them, this is it, fellas. Let's hit them right out of this timeout. Put some pressure on them. Show them how much you want it. Let's go get it. Guys, he's really exhorting them to give them a burst of energy.
And, folks, it's not like the Hawks didn't have talent. I mean, they did have 4 All-Stars last year. None of them voted in, however.
Now here's Schroeder out left to the wing. And it's sent back by Horford. To the paint. And there's Brown. That's good on the assist by Irving. And now it's a 3-point Boston lead. And guys, let's get your take on the hustle stats for Boston.
You know, block shots, guys, a clear indicator on the stat sheet of their excellent defense. I mean, leaving them no room to get off any shots.
And also, how about the points they've gotten in transition or on the fast break tonight? That's been a huge factor as well.
4 on the clock. Fires from 14. And good. Got the friendly bounce off the right side of the rim. And that's now 6 points for the Prodigy.
You know, what shows you just how team-oriented the Hawks were last season was this stat. They never had anybody score more than 30 points for them in a game all season. Millsap had 30 points once early in the year, and that was the high mark for the team.
Brown, good.
Hard to get that one off with the size difference there. That makes it a tough individual matchup for him, especially down low.
Well, took on the big guys going in there and challenging them like he did. Boy, that was a nice job.
And T is going to pick up the foul. That is his first foul of the game. Boston making some changes. T's checked in for T. Smart comes in for Brown. And it's Rozier in for Irving. T and Hayward with the block. Here we go, one-on-one. Takes the assist and lays it in. Picked out the pass nicely.
Every time they get scored on during this run, it's come from inside the paint.
Yeah, they have really owned the interior. You've got to collapse that defense and force them to beat you over the top.
And it's Schroeder missing. On offense, here are the Celtics. They're on a 12-4 run. Pass to Rozier. There's the triple. Good. And the Celtics lead by 8.
The shooting percentage continues to elevate here in the second half.
Well, as a group, they've been harmonic since the break. In sync. Good team basketball resulting in high-quality shots.
That's good. Celtics leading by 6. And here's Smart. And there's the rebound by Dedmon.
And they get the rebound, but guys, that's been the issue throughout the game.
Yep, and the results on the scoreboard are attributed to how they've been out-rebounded thus far.
Celtics foul.
First free throw is good, and that brings them within 5. And a new group in for the Celtics. Aaron Baines, he's checked in for Horford. G comes in for T. Brown, he's checked in for Gordon Hayward. And Irving subbed in for Rozier. Now here's Smart. Bellinelli is covering. Rebounded by the Hawks. Collins has got 3 rebounds so far in the game. Hawks have gotten only 3 of their 9 field goal attempts to go down since the end of the third. Pretty cold down the stretch. Shooter kicks to Bellinelli. Down low, Dedmon. And he jams it after taking the nice feed on the run.
And guys, right now, the defense mentally not there. Can't afford too many of those in a close game like this.
Yeah, Jay, you're right. Almost a free run, don't you think? Clark did the hoop for him there.
Momentum can swing on plays like that, Kevin, especially when the finish has that much thunder on it.
Boston's gone 1 of 2 from three-point range here in the 4th. Outside Irving. Here's the 3. Gets the 3 to fall.
He's got some serious momentum going right now. He's been great all day. Even last game, he was on fire.
Time call here. The Hawks decide to talk it over. They're down by 5. There's 47 seconds left in the game. And some changes here for the Celtics. Al Horford is checked in for Aaron Baines. T comes in for Brown. And Gordon Hayward is subbed in for Marcus Smart. Now here's Schroeder. He's covered by Irving. Dedmon. Good! What a beautiful shot to bring him to within 3.
Now, how about how he sets his man up there, runs him right into the screen, and then gets the basket.
Hayward goes in. It's in!
Locked and loaded tonight. Whenever he's got any kind of a decent look, he's knocked it down.
Well, sans his lights-out shooting, they'd be staring at a huge deficit.
Atlanta calls timeout. They're losing by 5. There's 31 seconds left to play in the final quarter. Marcus Smart's checked in for Irving.
Marcus Smart.
Here's Bellinelli, defended by Hayward. Here's Dedmon. No good. Good work defensively by Horford. So it's Boston now. It's a 5-point game, and that's an intentional foul. And now they decide to foul intentionally. He doesn't hit the first, and that was the one they really wanted. He's got one more, though. And the second of 2 is good. That increases their lead to 6. Atlanta calls timeout. They trail by 6. 19 seconds left in the 4th quarter. Here's Bellinelli, defended by Hayward. Bellinelli passes to Dedmon. They set the screen. Knocks down the three.
A lot of space right there to get that shot off.
Not a very good job of the defender getting over the top of that screen in that particular play.
It would have been something to see if he could hit that shot from that deep.
Greg, you know it. I know it. There aren't very many guys that can hit from out there. But he is one of them. That's the kind of range he has.
And so it's Boston scraping by with the win. This win, such a tremendous emotional boost for them.
Really an accomplishment and crazy finish to take a road game like this and simply deflate an entire building.
And that's going to do it tonight, folks, for our broadcast. This is Kevin Harlan saying thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time. But first,
The 2K Sports postgame show.
Many thanks, Kevin. So now we move on to our Jordan player of the game, Gordon Hayward.
I can't imagine a player having a better night from the field than he had tonight. His shooting percentage was off the charts. He used every trick in the book to get those high percentage shots. He shot from every direction, and there was a little bit of luck here and there, but he was on fire.
There was nothing they could do to slow him down, Ernie. Man, go into a building on the road and completely control the action like he did. Only a few players could do that, Ernie. I'm impressed.
And that'll do it for tonight. For Kenny Smith, Shaquille O'Neal, Kevin Harlan, and our illustrious 2K Sports.